It's Jen.
And Ben.
And it's time for another episode of Ask Jen.
And Ben.
Oh, leaving me hanging.
I couldn't see. There's so much hair.
That's where I keep all my secrets. Okay.
So one thing you guys were super curious about is food.
Yep.
And one thing that we enjoy a lot is food.
We love food. We love to eat. Some of us love to cook.
At least one of us.
Bing. I love jjajangmyeon. It's my favorite. It's a very nostalgic dish, and it's something that I've loved my entire life. My favorite American? What is American? Oh,
well, there's a big hamburger with flags coming out of it.
French fries. Sandwich. Chicken meat. Stew.
Brunswick stew.
Chowder.
Ooh, clam chowder.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting hungry.
The next one listed was Kansas City barbecue.
Oh.
You guys know we are Kansas City natives.
It's cheating.
And bar none, my number one favorite Kansas City food are barbecue ribs, Kansas City style.
Korean food, there's a lot of food that I really like. The one that I will just never turn down, and that is naengmyeon. Naengmyeon, it doesn't matter if it's like 10 degrees outside. If somebody's like, let's go eat cold noodles, I'll be like, okay.
And then what's your favorite American dish?
Barbecue. Kansas City barbecue.
Kansas City style barbecue. Growing up, my family, I would say, was always super consistently always eating every single meal together.
I came from a pretty similar background where it's like once the food is done being cooked, everybody gets together and they all eat together. And usually if you finish first, you stick around until everybody is finished eating. Or at least that's how we did it. We've been pretty much the same, especially with Arya now.
We like to show her like sitting all together and having that sort of community family time.
I do know how to make some. One thing that is probably my most prominent memory of cooking a Korean dish, well, there's two actually. The first one was the first time I tried to make jjajangmyeon, and I tried to make it based off of what Jen's mom was telling me. So Jen's mom is like a wizard in the kitchen. Like, she doesn't do any recipes, she doesn't measure anything, it's just all like grabbing it and throwing it into a pot. And so when she was telling me how to do jjajangmyeon, I was trying to do it based off of like basically estimating what she does. And when it came out, it was just this like, do you remember?
It was a little congealed.
Kind of just one big ball of noodles.
Yeah.
Because the noodles were overcooked and so they just kind of fused together.
It was edible.
Okay, so my makeup story. Again, actually very similar to what Jen's mom does, but also I used Monkfish as my guide, which if you haven't seen her channel.
Such good Korean recipes, and they taste really good.
Yeah. So one of my first major Korean food loves was ojingo, a squid. So ojingo bokum is what I wanted to make. And that was the very first video she ever uploaded on YouTube. And so it's like it's like really poor quality, like video resolution. I had to go to her blog to like get some of the ingredient lists, but I made from scratch.
Literally bought the whole squid. Mind you, if you go to the Korean grocery stores, you can buy pre-cut squid.
It was fun though.
Taking out the beak. It's like pretty intense, not gonna lie.
But it tasted really good.
Oh, it was so good. It was so good. He did an A+ job. So if you guys are just joining us, I am currently pregnant for the second time. I have a little belly bump. When I'm pregnant, last time and this time, I found that my spice tolerance is way higher. So I've been really into hot sauces, one of them being called the Bronx, which is like amazing, so delicious. Chili, which is like pretty spicy. It has a nice kick to it. And
I feel like I'm going through pregnancy cravings with that one because I want it all the time.
It's really good. You also made a salsa verde chicken, and that over rice is like, I mean, this doesn't really count, but I've also liked ice cream.
But that's both during and not during your pregnancy. That's just an all the time kind of thing.
I do like ice cream.
Yeah. Yes.
I think that's a definite yes. She already seems to really like spicy food. My mom is super paranoid. Anytime we give her anything, even like medium spicy, she's like, oh, she thinks it's too hot, it's too spicy. But I feel like when our parents are gone and we just give Arya the curry that my mom made that's a little more spicy, Arya loves it. She gobbles it up, eats it fine. And I mean, when she was in my tummy, I was eating really spicy stuff like all the time.
When Jen was pregnant, she doesn't want to do the spicy challenge. She just wants to eat the spicy challenge
Ramen
food.
Challenge. Thus far, we haven't tried it yet.
You haven't tried it. I don't want to go through torture, but Jen does.
I would say you've had lots of surprises.
Yeah, it's kind of been just... Oh, I think the biggest surprise was when we were in Korea and we tried sundae from a street vendor.
It's a Korean-style blood sausage. Yeah.
So I feel like the name is pretty intimidating, like as just a Kansas boy. But when I had it, I was like, this is so good.
Which is hilarious because like I'm not a big fan of sundae, but you went ham. You really loved it.
You know who else is a big fan of sundae?
My dad? Oh, no,
Arya.
Arya. Oh my gosh. For me, you guys might laugh at this actually. I never tried cottage cheese until having it at your place with your family. This was probably high school or college. Cheese usually is like pretty strong and a pretty sharp flavor. So that's what I was expecting. And when I tasted it for the first time, I was like, huh, it kind of tastes like nothing. I really liked it because I like the light fluffy texture and I love it with salt and pepper. And then I became lactose intolerant after that point, so I can no longer enjoy it like I once did. But that was such a strong memory of something that I felt like was very ordinary to the average American person that I had just never been exposed to.
Korean fried chicken.
Oh, that's a good one.
It is a really good one. That is something that when we lived in Kansas, Jen would tell me these grand tales like, oh, you have to have Korean barbecue, you have to have Korean fried chicken, and I'd be like, what are these things that you talk about with such passion?
It's basically a twice fried chicken.
Like nothing's different about the meat, but the outside is more...
It has that crunch, that saucy caramelized bite.
You could almost say it's like creme brulee on the outside. It's not a crunch that's like hard crunch because they just battered it so much. It's still super tender on the inside. Yeah, it's more like a crunch that's like is full of like flavor.
I feel like we've talked for like 5 minutes just about fried chicken.
Because that's how good it is.
You know what else is a really good... I feel like a really good japchae really brings me back. It really reminds me of like when my family would have big like holiday gatherings because it's just like a staple. So for me, that's really comforting. This is more for an allergy's sake than anything. I mentioned this before in a previous video. Ben really loves pepperoni pizza, and I am really, really, really allergic to pepperoni. Like, my whole body will be a hive.
Which I didn't believe her for the longest time. And I would just be like, okay, Jen, you sure?
Right.
You're okay,
you just don't
allergic.
like pepperoni.
You could have like salami.
Yeah.
You could have like other Italian meats.
Deli meats.
And we just happened to go to a place where it was like in the salsa or salad or something weird. Like something where
you couldn't even tell. It wasn't
pepperoni.
Like pieces of it.
And you just broke into hives and we had to go to the hospital that night. And I was like, okay, I believe now. You went through a week of taking prednisone and then when you were done, it came back again. I was like, I believe, Jen.
I think I went to the hospital 3 separate occasions that month because of that one instance of eating it. So anytime I'm like, okay, please just make sure there's no cross-contamination. He is very respectful of that. But every time he orders pepperoni pizza, I still kind of give him a side eye.
So mine, I will say that I really didn't like mandu for the longest time, like dumplings.
Which is so weird. Who doesn't like dumplings? Who doesn't like dumplings?
I will say they do smell like a little interesting, you know?
Cheese? Hello.
Cheese smells
Cheese
fantastic.
smells disgusting.
I wish there was a cheese deodorant. Okay, that's too far. I wish there was a pepperoni deodorant. Or shampoo. Just like...
Divorce!
Okay, so mandu, I think like the first couple times I had it, I don't know what it was, but the taste didn't click with me. Because we would have it all the time, like for family get-togethers. And so I was like, I don't want to keep hating this. And it has ingredients that don't seem that weird to me. So I'm just going to like start experimenting with it and try to cook it myself until like I'm accustomed to it. I found a way that if you pan fry it, but you put water at the bottom and basically steam it until all of the water is gone and then finish it off by pan frying it, it gives it a little bit of both worlds. Yeah.
It's so good. So tastes are weird. They definitely change. You just have to be open-minded.
I will say though, like, still to this day, trying out new panchan that I've never had before.
Panchan is side dishes, like Korean side dishes.
But the lotus root, I remember you being like, I don't really like that. And then when I tried it, I was like, okay, I'm okay with not trying this again.
I like eating basically anything
I was gonna
Asian.
say it'd probably be easier to list off stuff we don't like because
I know.
we like eating
We
Indian
like a
food,
lot.
like Indian food, we like Italian food, we like Mexican food,
Thai food, Chinese food, Japanese food, Persian food.
Mediterranean food.
You really
Is that the
like
same?
Cajun food.
Oh my gosh.
It's definitely a mixture.
My side of the family is just very traditional, like whatever you see in the commercials. It's like turkeys, ham, corn,
mashed potatoes,
salads.
And then for my family, it's like all of the American traditional foods plus all of the Korean traditional foods. 1 or 2 kinds of kimchi.
There's like japchae,
Usually
mandu.
dumplings. Yeah.
The joke that I made is that Arya's half Korean, but her stomach is full Korean. Because it doesn't matter what Jen's mom makes. It doesn't matter like how leftover it is. It doesn't matter if it's like spicy or how flavorful. It's just if it's a hint of Korean, Arya will eat it.
It's funny because Ben will spend an hour cooking something specifically for Arya, and like she'll eat it the first time, but then if it's reheated, she's like, no. But if it's Korean, rice with anything, if it's like pickled cucumbers, if it's something more exotic, she loves
it's
it.
Insane. We taught her pretty early on, or when we were trying to get her to eat different things, we would always eat it and go, And so I think that when she sees us eat anything, she's like, oh, they're doing that because it tastes good.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter how green it is. It doesn't matter how red it is.
She loves greens. She loves spinach. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of shocking, like, as adult human beings who had stereotypes growing up of, oh, kids don't like broccoli, kids don't like spinach, and then just seeing with our own eyes in the way that we raise her that it's so normalized. It's not something that's like necessarily inherent. But that being said, I will say every child is different.
If you guys saw a previous Ask Ben and Jen is pretty partial to Thai food, and that's usually her choice.
I love sour things right now. So like a good tom yum soup is like spicy and sour. That definitely makes my cravings happy. But I will say usually it goes like this where we're like, what should we eat? And Ben will ask me what I want. And then I will suggest something and he will reject it. And then I'll be like, Ben, you're the pickier one. You just choose something else. I'll eat anything.
Bing, which, I mean, it makes sense.
I crave Korean food more. Me eat more vegetable.
Good English, Jen. I'd maybe eat like slightly faster.
You eat faster, for sure.
Just like barely. Usually me.
Yeah.
If Jenna's pregnant.
Me, yeah. No, we're pretty good about sharing
Yeah.
our food. But again, I think that's like just how you were raised. Korean culture is like you always put food on somebody else's plate. That's like showing that you love them. So he had to get used to that in the very beginning. But generally, we're just really good about eating each other's food.
Yeah.
Probably one of the things that we tried when we went on our Korean bus tour. I think at one point we had like, I think it was like a manta ray. And I feel like that was like very exotic. And we had this stew that was a monkfish that's like, that was
so
really good. If you don't know what a monkfish is, it's that big anglerfish with like the scary teeth and like the light. Yeah. Generally salty.
Sweet. Like my personality.
And I'm very salty. If there were no consequences, ice cream.
Oh man, I don't know.
I would say Chick-fil-A for you.
Sure, Chick-fil-A. We'll go with Chick-fil-A.
So I guess we've reached the end of the video.
And now we are both incredibly hungry.
I have some sweet potato right here in front of me.
I saw some comments that were asking us to do like a mukbang. Like,
oh yeah, we should do a mukbang.
Yeah.
Sharing some of our favorite restaurants or something.
Yeah.
Let us know if you'd want to see that in the comments. By the way, if you guys are interested in cooking, if you follow Ben's Instagram, he likes to do this little series called Cooking with Ben. And sometimes he posts some of his little like recipes and things that he cooks, which have a large variety. Sometimes it's more Americanized, sometimes it's more Korean.
sometimes it's pretty stupid, but like a little bit of humor.
Yeah.
Mixed
So
in.
go follow his Instagram to check that out. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like to ask us more Ask Jen and Ben questions. Hashtag Ask Jen and Ben. Thanks for watching. We love
thanks,
you guys
guys.
so much. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.